This conference,
Suresh,
this
I am
conference
the
will now be recorded.
trainer for this session. It's a demo session planned for plan for you to explain about the functionalities and fundamentals. Yeah. I will share my screen. Before that, I'm Suresh. I'm having around 17 years of experience in SAP, APO, PPDS, and ePPDS part. I worked in multiple projects, and okay, I will start from my side. Okay, so you people are having some idea about APO, PPDS, and you people are having experience and exposure to SAP, correct? So that's good. Actually, SAP is a tool for ERP. So in industrial point of view, it is integrating all modules, all departments, especially. That's the reason why SAP is in use. And what is the purpose of APO, or otherwise we can say what is APO and what are the functionalities and advantages in APO. And now it is into S4 HANA, correct? S4 HANA and ePPDS. What is these things are actually? So as it's a demo session, I will give some overview about all these functionalities so that people who are having better idea about is APO and different models of APO, it is well and good for them. And if somebody is very new to this nomenclature and functionalities, then it will be better for them to understand. Okay, so APO is a tool for SCM. SCM is nothing but supply chain management, correct? Then another question, what is supply chain? Supply chain management, it integrates the supplier, manufacturer, and customer. So this is a connecting medium, or this technology connects supplier, manufacturer, and customer. So APO is one of the tool for satisfying the business need of this SCM concept actually. So as abbreviation, APO is nothing but advanced planning and optimization, and the APO is having different models based on the uh, business or based on the functionalities. It is segregated into different models. First of all, I will just tell about the general classic APO part, so that next we can go into ePPDS part, just an overview of that. So you can understand what is there inside and what is the difference between those ePPDS and PPDS. In the classic APO part, it is having demand planning DP, and supply network planning SNP, and PPDS production planning and detailed scheduling, and it is having some ATP part, transportation management side, and all other things also there. But in as a core, it is having a demand planning DP, SNP, PPDS. These are core models, I can say. Like our SAP, usually we are having in ECC system. If you ask, you know the models, correct? MM for metal management, SD for and distribution, PP for production, PM for plant maintenance. Similarly, in APO also, APO is not a single tool. It is having some sub models like normal ECC models, we can say. So that is there. If you ask what are the things are there, for example, if you see, this is the content, training content we are having. Production planning is for HANA. What are the planning, especially this is for planning. If you take a classic APO, it is integrated with the ECC system. So I will explain how it is, what are the things inside into that. But this is as a course content. If you see, we are covering material requirement planning, that is the production planning functionalities, material requirement planning, multi-level planning, and what are the planning concepts and how we are running planning. All the things we are covering in the first module. And second module, advanced planning part, this is more focused into ECC or S4 part, that the planning part in S4 or ECC. And second part is this is APO functionalities specific to APO, PPDS, for example, planning with the PPDS, and how the finite requirement planning, finite scheduling, and material flow, all the things are there in the second module. And module 3, it covers master data part. I can say the products, the resource production data structure, and other settings related to these master data. And here we can cover how it is different from normal metal master bill of metal work center routing concepts, and what are the difference, and what is the nomenclature in each field and each values in APO part. And if you take the basic functions of production planning, in depth, we can say the requirement side, and what are the planning procedures used in APO, and what are the functionalities in depth, and how it plays a role in planning. All the things in detail we can see, especially for scheduling and the pegging part. Pegging is nothing but the connection between requirements and receipts. So these things we can discuss in the model 4. And if you take model 5, this is planning and MRP live. Comparing to classic ECC APO, this is the new terminology MRP live. It may be new to me, to you. If you take MRP live, this is the current S4 HANA and the ePPDS setup. This is the new terminology you can hear, MRP live, which is used to run MRP. And resource is nothing but work center part, how it is there, the capacity related distribution we can discuss here. And model 3, it is a evaluate the planning process. Once the planning has been completed, we evaluate how it is, how the planning, how the results, and whether we are satisfying our demand, or whether we are doing any over planning or any shortage. Those things using different tools we can discuss here. And uh, advanced processes like optimizer, CTP, these things are some advanced processes in APO PPDS. And model 8, we can see what are the different algorithms and logics used to attain our planning. Because comparing to our MRP, how this is different, and what the advantages in these algorithms comparing to our MRP logic. These things we can discuss in the model 8. And model 9, this is SIF. SIF is nothing but core interface, SIF. So how these things are connected, and uh, what are the logic, and what are the feed, and which is used to connect this system, and how the data flow, and if there is some problem in data flow, how to handle, and what are the different types of data we are transferring. All the things we can discuss in the SIF part. And here you see, as I told, the data transfer, types of data transfer, and how we are transferring the data, in which frequency we are transferring data, whether any automatic or any background programs. These things we are discussing here in the model 10. And model 11, this is much used for the uh, interactive planning part. As you are having from SAP background, what are the different tools used, and what is interactive planning especially, and how it is useful for the planners to take a decision before saving the data into the database. So these things are there in the model 11. And model 12 is CTP. There is cable to promise, in that it is a modern or advanced process in this one. And we can see some specific cases, and we can see how the entire flow from ECC or from S4 HANA to PPDS. These things we can be covering in this session. Okay, this is the overall content. So we will cover all these topics, which will give a good or clear picture to understand the flow, understand the planning processes, understanding the results evaluation, and how it will be useful and helpful in your planning process. Okay, is it okay? Fine. I will move to the next one. Here, this is actually our general. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Suresh, we are able to hear you. Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. Excellent. 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 Uh, so I'm trying to do deep dive into these concepts. It is an overview session. In our regular session, we will go in of each and everything, but uh, I will try to give some overview about that concepts, so that you can understand what are the things inside to this each features. For example, here we are going to speak about the architecture, how the systems and how the systems connected to each other. For example, in the classic way, if you take the classic ECC and MRP, ECC and APO systems, how it is connected, and what are the interface? I mean, what is the interface connecting these two systems? Okay, ECC is a separate box, and APO is a separate box, and how the data flow, and how what are the data we have to transfer to from ECC to APO, and how the data is coming back to ECC, and what are the master data, what are the transaction data, all the things we are going to cover here in this one. And from integration part, and planning strategy and conception mode, this is much technical things. And scheduling, what are the different types of scheduling, and what are the functionalities for planning table and planning board. These are the core APO concepts. Okay, concepts in this one. And if you see this picture, this is a graphical, or it is a picture which explains about the supply chain. If the people who are not having any idea about supply chain management, you can see, as I told, this is the supply chain management concept. For example, if you see supplier is nothing but when we are having procurement, when we are having a vendor, he will do the supply to the manufacturer. From manufacturing unit, it will go to the distribution, retail, and the end customer. So it covers entire supply chain. The purpose of this supply chain management, or the purpose of this supply chain, there are two things I can, in from my point of view, I can say two things. One is, when we are having the manufacturing facility, when we are doing manufacturing, we have to get the product or raw material vendor, from the supplier. We are doing manufacturing, and our end customer, in between there are some units which facilitate this goods movement to the end customer, maybe distribution center or retail outlet, whatever it may be. It is facilitating to reach to the customer, end customer. But the concept is, when we are doing manufacturing, the raw materials, when we procure from the supplier or vendor, the stock should not be dumped in our warehouse. That means the inventory cost, inventory cost should, we should try to avoid the inventory of raw material storage, inventory cost. And the same time, when we are producing, it has to be supplied to the correct. We have to sell that product. Otherwise, keep on dumping it in our warehouse, there is no meaning, because it will be a huge loss manufacturing unit. So the inventory of raw materials should be considered as much as possible. We have to reduce that inventory cost, and soon as possible, we have to sell that product to the end customer. It should go out from our factory premises. So to manage that inventory, cost and the inventory quantity reduction, we have to keep our SEM very clearly. So the connection between the vendor, manufacturer unit, and the customer, it has to be properly maintained. Here the FIFO and all other concepts are coming. JIT, just in time or first in first out. These things are coming into picture to satisfy this industrial demand. Okay, so that is the purpose. A company is having lot of inventory, then definitely it will huge impact in their profit. Okay, so SEM is coming into picture. Correct. And if you take in PPDS, for example, what are the advantage? Why we have to go into PPDS for this SEM functionalities? In PPDS, we can arrive some feasible plans. Okay, that requirement and receipts. The demand management, the demand program, how we can arrive the demand, and how we can create receipt elements, and requirement connections. Other words, I can say pegging, but I can explain later. But the feasible plan and the realistic delivery dates, and this is high performance. APO is up to minute or up to second, up to minute planning. We can do, or we can track or trace our production. Planned order or production order up to minute in the system itself. You can track the planned order, how much quantity, what is the quantity produced up on that particular time. All the things we can do, that is high performance. Okay, this is as I mentioned, as it is a tool for SEM, it is connecting sales, inventory, supplier, production, all the things. And this is useful for short term and long term planning. Usually MRP or this APO PPDS is more focused into short term, but we can do long term planning also by using this tool. And if you see this picture, you can understand. If people are from APO background, definitely they might know this one. But if very new to this concept, then you can see this APO application architecture. Here, the center part, the middle part is APO tools, and left hand side, if you see, this is if you see here, this is nothing but ECC, that ECC system, and this is BW system setup. This is the classic APO ECC architecture. If you see the center part, the APO or supply chain cockpit, as I told earlier, this connects demand planning and supply network planning, production planning, and detailed scheduling PPDS, and global ATP deployment. These things are the master part of or important models of APO. And our ECC system, as I told, metal management, sales and distribution, SD, PP, production planning, and inventory management, WM. These things are in our ECC, classical ECC system. And if you take here in BW, this is historical data and the key values, key characteristics. These things are connected to here APO, and even in ECC system also, so that we can arrive some forecast plans. We can arrive some seasonal or historical values to create our forecast diagram and demand management. So this is the entire system setup. Especially, I can say this is the architecture, how the classic ECC and APO systems are working. And in addition to these functions, I put in detailed way of APO features. This is for multi-plan heterogeneous environment. What is mean by heterogeneous environment? If you are having different plans, supply network. If you are having any multiple network, you can do planning, and you can see how the demands and how the receipts has to be. So it is multi-planned heterogeneous environment, and this is and APO is only a planning system. You cannot do any execution. So this is a planning system which is integrated to production or execution system. And this is short term and mid term, long term facilities. You can do that one. And you can arrive capacity related planning. So you can do finite scheduling, you can do sequencing, you can do capacity planning in detailed way, comparing to any other tool. And this is having the functionality of integrated planning. That is nothing but I can say you can the planner can do planning without saving into the database to see the results, how the impact will be, all other things. So this is very much useful to do interactive planning here. And as I told, this is we are having some advanced features like optimizing the results, and we can focus more into individual operations. We are having some graphical user friendly tools available in APO to see the results, and to manipulate the results, all other stuff. And one more important topic here is alert. In ECC system we are not having this facility at all. We are having some exception messages which will give very generic information about our planning results. But at the same time, in APO we are having very detailed information about each situation called alert. Alert is nothing but the indicator or indication to the planner to take a decision whether this is a error or warning, or how to behave for each event. All the things you can design by yourself. This is called alert processing. Okay. And here this slide explains about the difference in terminology between ECC and APO system. If you see, we are having masters, very well. We are having material master, we are having bill of material, we are having work center, we are having routing, we are having production version, we are having plant even. So these things are called masters, correct? Master data. These master data are created in ECC system, and these master data are transferred to APO. We are not creating master data directly in APO most of the cases. Uh, all the master data is provided by the ECC system. At the same time, how these master data are different in appearance or different in terminology in APO. For example, I can say material master. Material is called as product in APO, and plant, vendor, customer, storage, location, shipping point. These things are called location in APO. And how we are differentiating? We are differentiating based on the location type. We are differentiating these masters with a location type. And the work center is called as resource in APO. BOM and routing, this is a combination of BOM and routing. Usually we know production version. This production version is called production data structure, otherwise PDS, production data structure. And the MRP controller is called as a planner. And MRP, that MRP logic itself, material requirement planning, is called heuristic in APO. And we are having some transactions, for example, stock requirement list. We are having a stock requirement list to see the current situation after planning. So this similar things we can do in product view in APO. Exception messages are called alert. As I told, exception messages are very generic information, but alerts are very detailed. But concept wise, this is the indication to the planner to give or fine tune his planning situation. and the coverage profile is called range of coverage, and storage location is called sublocation, or based on the location type we can say storage location. Clear? And this is the next slide, model and planning version. In APO, we are having different models or different versions, especially. But the all the data are stored in active version at 000 triple zero. Triple zero is the active version, which holds all the master data, transaction data, informations. At the same time, as a planner, you can create your own versions to do some simulations. If you want to do some simulations, you can create your own version and you can do planning. For example, if you want to do some budgeting, if you want to do some long-term planning, you can create your own version and you can do your planning trial and error. But in general, active version 000 is used widely for all your real-time planning processes. Okay, so as I told, the master data, how the master data are called, for example, products, location, and PPDS and other things. This is stored in active version, and if you want, you can copy this to your simulation version also. Okay, these are the master data I told in a previous slide itself. Location, calendars also you can do, products, resource, and PDS. These things are there in PPDS. And in PPDS, you know, in Metal Master we are having different views in ECC system, like basic data 1 to MRP data 1 2 3 4, and you are having sales view, we are having procurement view, you are having plant maintenance, work scheduling, you are having costing views. Okay, similarly we are having different tabs or views in product master also in APO. In product master you can see different tabs, and here I want to tell one information. As APO is a planning tool, you are not transferring all data to APO. You are not mimic. You doing mimic. You are just sending only planning relevant informations. Okay, so even though the metal master data are transferred, this is not all data appears in APO. Only planning related informations will be there. So administration view, we are having demand view, we are having PPDS view, we are having lot size view, and GRGA. These informations will be there in the product master record. And if you take resource master, that is work center also we are creating and transferring to ECC, from ECC to APO. And here we are having some data which are showing in our APO resource master, like general data, planning parameters, capacity and capacity variant, short description, characteristics. These informations in general it will be there. And this is the screen which explains about the data transfer. Okay, as I told, the classic ECC and APO systems are connected through integration model. So the data movement, data flow from one system to another system is very much important. Okay, the relevant data we are transferring through our integration model. Integration model is a tool or data carrier which transfers or which takes the data from one system to another system. So this is connected to each other in a real-time way, because the data movement from ECC to APO and APO to ECC is real time. So this is connected to each other by SIF, that is core interface. And one more point here, we have to discuss about the live cache. Live cache is a database which will be there in APO system, which is very much useful to hold and process the data as much as possible faster to normal database. So live cache we can discuss here. And when we are discussing, I can explain detail about the integration models, setup, and objects, how the data flow, and what are the things you have to set up. All the things we can discuss when we are discussing in detail. If in this case we are transferring the data in, I can say, as a concept wise, we are having two type of data transfer. One is initial transfer, another one is incremental transfer. Initial transfer, in the sense, APO system is, there is no data, because all the master data, I told you, all the master data are provided from ECC system to APO. So before transferring the data, it will be there in ECC, but no data will be available in APO. When you are doing data transfer, then this is called initial transfer. And when you are after go live, you are creating new materials, new data. Those things will be transferred through background job integration models. It is called incremental transfer. Some changes also, when you are updating some master data, you are changing some data, these things will be transferred as a incremental transfer. If you see the data flow, we can say master data and transaction data. Master data is created in ECC and transferred back to APO, and transaction data is bidirectional. Okay, for example, we can create an ECC and transfer to APO, and we can do some planning, and planning results are coming back to ECC. So this is bidirectional. As I told, live cache, I can explain in detail about live cache and other master data in detail when we are having detailed session. And this is the integration objects, like for example APO system. And APO is it is in the architecture wise, this is in the upper hand, the planning part. So APO is in the top, and ECC is in the bottom. You can say, imagine like this. And sales order, SD related informations, and MM related informations, and PP related informations. For example, sales order, purchase requisition, planned order, and stocks. All the informations we are transferring to APO and getting back and the results and all in our ECC system. And if you take the flow, that is the planning logic, how the planning is happening, how the planning logic is working. This is more or less our standard MRP related in APO, but this is having more functionalities comparing to MRP. That is called heuristic, and multiple algorithms are there. We are having very good uh, business related, business oriented algorithms used specific to each business. Okay, so this is the logic. For example, here we need a bomb explosion usually in ECC MRP. Here we have we are having PDS, production data structure, and when we are doing explosion, it will do all the components planning and other functionalities. Okay, so the concept wise, APO heuristic is nothing but similar to ECC MRP, but it is having more advantage and advanced features available. And we are having different planning strategies based on the business, based on the requirement. We can design and define our own planning strategies as well. But in general, the planning with the final assembly 40 is widely used, and you can do make to stock strategy planning also. And this slide explains about the consumption, how the demand and receipt consumption happening, because we should, as I told, that is the ultimate idea. We should not do over planning. So how the planning um, happens, and how the receipt and requirement related consumption happening. So we can do backward consumption, we can do forward consumption. Um, all the stuff we can discuss in this conception mode. based on the consumption mode selection, it will behave. Okay. And this is if you are selecting both, for example, first backward then forward, first forward then backward, all the things based on our selection parameters, it will behave. So I can explain very well in detail about these things. And for example, if you see this picture, this is nothing but when you are doing infinite scheduling, when you are doing planning, system will create planned orders. If you are creating multiple planned orders at the same time in the same work center, it is overloaded, correct? You cannot produce multiple planned orders or production orders in the same work center at the same time. So you have to do sequencing and leveling of this one. You have to do some scheduling of those planned orders. If not, then it is called over planning. That is called overload. That is the alert we can get. So that is a disadvantage in the infinite planning. And if we are having multiple resources, then you have to check the capacity availability of that work center for those planned orders. That is explained here. We are having different tools in APO. For example, we are having planning table, we are having planning board. Planning board is nothing but a graphical user interface, GUI. We are having that option. And as I told, we can do finite scheduling, we can do infinite scheduling. So based on our business requirement, the business need, we can do own setup. This is finite. For example, if you see this slide, we are having new planned orders on the same time where the planned order is already in process. But at the same time, here you are placing the planned order at the earliest possible date. Okay, so this is called a finite scheduling. We can discuss in detail. This is based on the strategy or based on this forward or backward direction. We can do finite scheduling in the backward direction or forward direction. That means where the available capacity we can fit into that. That is called a find a slot. Find a slot. This is the classic explanation about the planning run, how the planning is happening. For example, when we are running planning, it will create planned order. That planned order we can do convert a production order. If we are having a external procurement type, then it will create purchase requisition, and that purchase requisition can be converted to a purchase order. And if we are having production order in place, then it will create reservations. And if we are having multiple BOM structure, then it will create dependent requirements for the child part. This is very specific, or we can see in the planning how the system is behaving for different BOM levels. As I told, this is the planning board graphical user interface. It looks like that, and we are having multiple charts. As a planner. Um, he can take a call or decision based on different color codes. Different. This is called a navigation profile or visualization profiles used to understand different color codes. How the for example, if the resource is overloaded, or if we are not having proper planned order or reset element on time, all the things he can do. And here we are having multiple functions are available in the planning board. We can discuss in detail for about each functions used in the real-time project or real-time environment. This is one scenario. For example, if you see, we are having different color codes. Each color code is explaining about different functions, different indications to the planner. Actually this is based on the strategies, forward backward, and find a slot, and how to fit into that available capacity, because we are doing finite scheduling, we are trying to do finite scheduling to avoid overload. These different scenarios we can try to do using APO PPDS. PPDS is mainly used for this finite scheduling for resource level. And as I explained you earlier, this initial transfer, incremental transfer related. So because SIF is very much important, SIF is the core. SIF is the very important concept. We are having multiple functions in SIF. We have to do SIF management to make the system proper and consistent. We are having different tools for making the system consistent. We are having SIF management like CCR, CPP. We are having this queue manager, queue monitoring, all functions are available. We are discussing about the system connection integration. Okay, so this explains those part, and what are the objects we are transferring through this, because as a system, we have to transfer the data, relevant data, and we have to get the results accordingly. Okay, so APO, and this is very technical words. When we are seeing in the system, we can understand how, because um, otherwise I can say there is a change pointer concept coming here, which triggers the data flow, and what is the event pushes from ECC to APO. Same like ECC, we are having different order types, like sale order, external procurement, notes production, and all the things are considered, and it is creating accordingly. Okay, we are having order processing global parameters, like in ECC. We are having some configurations we have to do for the planning perspective. This is called global parameter settings. We can do, and I can explain you in detail about all the concepts. Okay, this is the this is the overall scenario, strategy, scheduling, offset time, find a slot, insert operation, finite, infinite, and sequencing and pegging. All the things will give excellent result for the planner using PPDS. I will explain everything in detailed way, which with the different cases. So this is a very general information. Advantage of PPDS: improve customer response, improve throughput, reduce inventory. As I told, that is the ultimate aim: reduce inventory, reduce overtime expenses, increase asset utilization, reduce cycle time, and reduce WP. This is more or less related to your cost effective, related to raw material storage and product storage. So this is the advantage in PPDS. So these are the concepts we are going to discuss in our sessions. But at the same time, this is the overview session, correct? So in each topic and each session, we will see in detailed way how the system connected, how it is working. This is a way we are going to explain about each concepts. And yes, so now current setup, if you see, if we are asking about S4 and ePPDS, ePPDS is nothing but integrated PPDS. Now there is an organization. If you see the org structure, there is a change in the S4. If you are asking S4 and ePPDS, this is different setup, because this ePPDS is connected to S4, and the master data transfer and other things are simplified later to the PPDS, and we are having some additional features for data transfer, and how the things. But at the same time, the concept is more or less same. the org structure and is some system connection is somehow different to ePPDS. But I will explain you in detail and how the system behavior in ePPDS and S4HANA environment. And we are having some Fury apps concepts. Earlier we are not having the classic way Fury apps, and which will help the business users to understand, and this is user friendly. So Fury apps we can discuss when we are discussing about ePPDS S4HANA structure. Okay, so these are the things from my side for today as an overview. If anything, ask.
I think this is really good overview, Suresh, actually. Overview. I think
Thank
these are the main topics also we are expecting in that way. It is really good, Suresh. Thanks.
Exactly. Thank you very much, and we will discuss in detail in
Yeah.
sessions. Okay.
Sure, Suresh. Suresh, about the timings, it is every weekend, or how is it actually, the session timings?
Uh, Actually, people will revert back to you regarding that schedules and
Okay.
timing. Yeah,
Okay.
we will
Okay.
discuss. No problem. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, Suresh.
Okay. Thank you very much for your timing, and we will discuss in coming sessions in detailed way. Okay.
So you will like means take APO as well as S4 PPDS, or you will only talk about S4 PPDS?
Uh, we can discuss both, no problem. But based on your requirement, we can design accordingly.
And how many classes it will take to complete the syllabus?
Probably from you will get all this information later. But the content, just overview I want to give, but it will be discussed in detail about the timing, about the slot, and whether this is daily or weekly. All the things you will get the information.
Now, my question is how many hours of content is there, or how many
Uh,
days it will take?
yeah, roughly I'm saying roughly around 40 hours, roughly.
Okay.
Plus minus will be there. We can schedule accordingly. Daily, I mean, how many hours are weekly or daily? But overall, it will be roughly 40 hours.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Then thank you very much. Have a nice day, nice
Thanks,
weekend.
Suresh. Is there any session planned tomorrow, Suresh, or we'll get to know from the expert?
Tomorrow, not, but once this is confirmed, we can
Okay.
update you. Okay.
Sure, sure, Suresh. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.